Now, to introduce my AP Biology teacher, Mr. Jesse Andrews, father of Sam Andrews, as the parent speaker. Jesse has been in many roles within the Pius family, which include biology, AP Biology, mentoring athletes, and coaching wrestling. Now, please welcome Mr. Jesse Andrews.
All right, hats off for David for having his memorized. Hello, my name is Mr. Andrews, Sam's dad. I hope everybody had a wonderful Mother's Day yesterday. And I think we'll start with a pop quiz for the parents, okay? Parents, do you know which animal was mentioned most frequently in the Bible? Okay, seniors, give him a nudge and says, "You's got this." Use. Okay. All right. It's a sheep. All right, now here's a bit of trivia. What animal was the first symbol of Christ before the cross? All right, seniors, you're going to need to whisper this. This is the fish. I love fish because they're sort of in their own world. Who's not? Now, on behalf of all the parents, okay, I want to congratulate the class of 2024, and I want to wish you good tidings. Now, good tidings is like Old English, and it means the day in and day out, the high tide, the ebb and flow of life, of adulthood. And I want to wish you the best with this, because at this time you are officially too old for high school. Let's see, where was I at? Okay, there we go, high school. This sarcasm kind of reminds me a little bit of some advice that I sought from my dad. There was like some sticky glue, and it was my job to clean it, and he said, use elbow grease, and I'm like, what is elbow grease? And he says, just use elbow grease and a little bit of dirt, and I was really annoyed by that because I just wanted something simple like a solution or a solvent that would clean it right away. Elbow grease, you have to get your elbow into it, your back into it. But I was really surprised that it worked, and it's a good lesson that sometimes there's no easy answers, but listening to advice with an open mind takes practice and can greatly benefit personal growth. That's my lesson number one. All right. Good tidings also brings good fortune to fishermen. Fishermen have to be attuned to the stars and the tides, as well as God and their inner fish. So you can navigate through the sea of doubt. For example, some of you guys, this is my lesson number 2. For some of you, you might feel like some days you are in a falling tide. A falling tide feels hopeless because the fish are gone, and because you feel like you've lost your opportunity, and it seems like the moon and sun are lined up against you, literally. However, the truth is that during a strong falling tide, the water recedes, and you can see all the nooks and crannies, the sandbars, and the places where the fish might have been when you were fishing poorly, and it teaches you a little bit about how to do it right next time. And so I want to encourage everybody to embrace their falling tide, okay, and to press on to God and to press forward. During your falling tide, you should instead invest like an entrepreneur. As an artist, it's your dark moment, and it's a time to take chances. The only mistakes you can have is to not learn from it, but also you should keep your line in the water. That's the only mistake. Today we celebrate the rising tide of comfort and even a Yuletide joy. The eve of a spring tide, this is before evangelization, many of the indigenous Yules would put a log on a fire, and they would count the sparks for each blessing and each accomplishment. Kind of like when Sam brought up his headgear and the others. And if we can imagine this, and you guys should try this. You should try this like maybe when you're camping with your family or maybe outside. Put a log on the fire, and every time it sparks, pop. That would be some of the graces that you were given in high school. Like, that's my 4.0, and pop, that is my my tech retreat or my best dive, or that's my dunk in basketball. And I can just see this class, we'd go et cetera, many accolades. And then all of a sudden, poof, pop, 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 pop. That would be our COVID-19 experience. And the way that this class has came back spiritually is amazing. And I think our parents should give our students a round of applause for that. I know that I had a son, a senior, graduate a couple years ago, and we went to the senior parties, and the feel on COVID for them was like, hee, we had COVID. And then last year, 2023, I had a cousin, a nephew that, and his, J.P. Matern, you may know him. His idea was that, they wanted their school back. They wanted their student section back. They felt like COVID took so much away from them. And for this class, I feel like COVID is Bruno, and we don't really talk about Bruno. Speaking of that, I think COVID was tough for Sam especially, and I think about what happened when he joined that football team, that freshman football team. And for all of you guys that were on that team, I am in debt to you for treating Sam as well as you did and giving him the hope that it was more about than winning games. It was about getting each other into heaven. And so I'm in debt to you for that. And when you guys played this senior year, and he wasn't on the team, but a lot of you guys were, and you guys worked so hard and played with so much grit. And you had all of your lines in the water. And so I do appreciate that. All right, next thing I want to say is just remember when you're counting those sparks and those embers that they don't last. And that's what happens with these accomplishments is they're not, they're an earthly thing, and so they're not supposed to last, all right? And we're supposed to enjoy them, but we're supposed to move on also. It's like in our genetics to do that. And so at this time, I want to let you know that it's not the extraordinary things that you may do someday that define us. It's the ordinary day-to-day actions that matter the most. Think about the most influential people in your life, and they're probably sitting with you today. They're just ordinary people that do simple acts of kindness and selflessness in the day-to-day trenches of an adult existence. If they are at your table, you should give them a nod of glad tidings. If they go to work, they're doing it for you. Many times at this age, as a senior, one of the things, you're trying to figure out what to do with your life, and more importantly, you're trying to figure out who you are in life. Like, who am I? And it's really weird because sometimes the way you perceive yourself and the way that others perceive you are totally different. And so we need to realize that. Like, I would never have expected to be asked to speak today. But we have a crystal clear Catholic identity. Okay, we are biological beings made in the image of God and made to love each other. And that's that simple, right? There's nothing really else that we are trying to identify ourselves at. We do ordinary works in a way to love others. At this time, I'd like to read a poem about work. He who works with marble and finds the shape of his own soul in the stone is nobler than the man who plows the soil. And he who seizes the rainbow to lay in the cloth in the likeliness of man is more than he who makes the sandals for our feet. But I say, not in sleep, but in over-awakenness of noontide, that the wind speaks more sweetly of the giant oaks than the least of the blades of grass. And alone in great, who turns the voice of the wind into the song made sweeter by his own loving. Work is love made visible. Seniors, today is a day to strengthen your faith. cherish your family and friends, and to fuel some passion for your line of work in the future. And if the tide is right, we will win a soccer game tonight. At this time, I want to talk a little bit about happiness, and to do that, I want to quote St. Thomas Aquinas as he talks about the false gods. The first false god he speaks of is power, seeking dominance and control over others. The second one is pleasure, excessive focus on indulging in sensory. The third one is fame, and I kind of want to talk about this because I think it represents this senior class really, really well. The desire for recognition, admiration, and public acclaim can become an idol when overshadowed by the values of humility, authenticity, and integrity. And those last things, humility, authenticity, and integrity, is really how I view this senior class. The last one is money, and money's weird because I'm also talking about work, which also has to do with money, but money, the pursuit of wealth and material possessions, can become an idol when it takes precedence over ethical principles, compassion, and spiritual growth. According to research at Harvard University, the 4 pillars of happiness are faith, family, friends, and work. These pillars represent the key aspects of life and contribute to long-term happiness and well-being. Graduation can be stressful as it marks a pivotal moment when we're trying to figure out our past, asking questions like, what will we do the rest of our lives? Where will we work? Where will we live? It's a reminder that while no plan fails, failing to plan can lead to challenges down the road. In this modern world of instability, we see dealing with our government and our country and maybe the environment, it seems like things are unstable, and it leaves us feeling unsettling. This phenomenon often reflects the universal law of entropy, where things tend to move towards disorder. It's like the Good Shepherd's flock. If the Good Shepherd was to leave, the flock would spread out until it wasn't a flock anymore. That is what I mean by entropy. And the Good Shepherd has to constantly put input into this flock. It's almost like he has a PhD in repeating himself. Parents, do you feel the same way? Entropy is the flip side of biology, where organs and organ systems are organized into organisms. Organization requires constant input and energy to maintain entropy. Entropy refers to the tendency for this organization to be reversed. As you contemplate your dream job, remember that Earth is spinning on its orbit and going around the sun swiftly. In contrast, a photon takes 1 million years to journey from the core to the corona of the sun, just to disperse at light speed into entropy. Earth's path All right, here we go. Earth's path may intersect a fraction of that light, and then a fraction of that fraction is going to go into a chloroplast. And that is the very first time that entropy will be reversed, is in that moment. And at some point, that energy will be upgraded, and that'll be the energy for you to make your dreams, to plan, to dream. Okay, it'll also be the energy, it was the energy of your first breath, and it'll be the energy of your last. Jesus said, "It is finished," before his last. Johnny Cash said, "This mound of dust," and everybody, "take my mound of dust, everybody goes away in the end." This is entropy stated clearly. Every species on the planet is in the same situation. We're like on a treadmill walking in place. The wall of entropy is at our heels. We may defy entropy for 60, 80, 100 years. Through the whole time, we'd hear whispers of our talents in our dreams as we're on this treadmill. And if we don't listen to those talents and dreams, they could become ghosts at the end. And let's see, the devil wants nothing more than to feel like your soul at the end of your life is going to fall into entropy. And so in this kind of model, the devil is not really, in the shadows looking for lost souls. It's at the heels of all of us. And so we have to be diligent and careful on this journey. And so I just want to take my shoes off. And right now, I've sort of painted a situation where, seems kind of hopeless, right? Like, what's the point? Where do we move from here as we're just on this treadmill walking? And so what I did is I got on Pius's website, okay, and I started to read the encounters, and I read about putting your checklist down, okay, and reaching for the garments of Jesus. And that's defying entropy right there. And then I want to thank Bryn and Delaney for giving their encounter on that. And also, if you guys can imagine, stepping off and testing the water and giving all your faith into Jesus, okay? Charlie, thank you very much for that. That will defy the devil. And then I want to also imagine closing your eyes for the litmus test and dancing with Jesus. And if he's not dancing with you, just know that he still loves you, and so does his blessed mother. And all they do is care about your happiness, and they're about all that there is that cares about your happiness. And so I want to thank Libby and Drew for that. I don't really know Drew, but is that you? That's you, isn't it? Great speech, by the way. And then I want to, I asked Sam a little bit about, what's he's going to do the rest of his life. And he talked about art and wrestling, and I'm like, no, really the rest of your life. And he said that, one of his jobs was to, get his uncle and get his close friends into heaven. And to me, that's like putting a butcher hold on the devil. And so right now, I'm on the second part of my life on this treadmill, and so I'm gonna hand my shoes over to Sam. I want you to fill these with good humor and a deep faith. All right. Okay, first of all, I'd like to thank the Student Council for asking me to speak today. It's an honor to be here. It fills me with a profound sense of God's healing presence. I've taught on a reservation and at title schools, and I am often asked, what's the difference with teaching at Pius? And let me share this. Pius is a place of healing, not just for young, but for old. Adults return here because our student body fills their hearts with joy. This is a sense of community and spiritual growth that is unique and not easily found elsewhere. I'm absolutely bewildered with David about the growth of participation in tech, Teens Encounter Christ, Adoration, and Restore. The seniors are at the front of this leap of faith, which grows like bamboo, the world's fastest growing plant. It grows my height each day, and so like tomorrow, I'd be taller than Trayson. I don't know why or how, but I am certain that this couldn't happen at a different school. Just like the bamboo, there's an underground networking of rhizomes and roots that take time, like 10 years even, before the rapid growth becomes visible. This mirrors the strong foundation of the fabric of Lincoln's Catholic education. Seniors reflecting on the years and of your dedicated parents, taking you to school, later participating in various school activities like recess, lunch, mass, field trips, scouting, coaching sports, or even working in the office or having their own classroom. It is evident that their support shaped your journey from the first day of school to the last. Many of those around you at your table have been along with you the entire time, laying the groundwork of your faith and love for Jesus. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, guide us as we navigate life's waters. Illuminate our paths, your wisdom, and protect us from the darkness. May our actions bring glory to your name. Amen. Congratulations, class of 2024. Let's make waves and leave a positive impact.